what it is, what's happening. So you can see outside the door there, the Jeep. So today we're fixing lights on it, putting a battery in it, and the battery cables have these on them. Now these ends are good for quick repair, quick roadside repair, or you know, car won't start one morning, battery cables trash. These are good to get you by, but these are not a permanent fix. And guys always use them as a permanent fix. They'll never understand it. So we're gonna make some new cables today. Now I like to solder everything. I'm trying to get all my stuff together here right now so we can make some new cables. I purchased solder on battery ends. They already have solder, flux, and everything already in them. There's two different sizes. You got a negative and you got a positive. Actually, that's that way. This is your negative, it's your positive. If you notice, the holes are actually, one's smaller, one's bigger, because your negative terminal is actually a little bit smaller in diameter and your positive is a little bit bigger. So we will solder these bad boys onto our cable, and then we're going to solder some new ends on, and then we'll put some shrink wrap on them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some new cables. So let's get to it. Now I was going to speed this up, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys ride along while I make one. So here we go. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our positive cable. I always save cable from junk cars because actually there's really nothing wrong with this part of the cable. It's not corroded. I'm going to clip the end of it off. And you can see it's not corroded. This part we'll put right in the garbage where it belongs. Just use a razor knife. I'll cut her back a little bit. We'll do this without cutting my fingers off today. We got a nice piece of cable to work with. Now, our next step will be to, let's see, let's make sure we get the right one. We're gonna make a positive cable first. I'm just gonna lightly clamp this together. And the reason I'm doing this is because I can hold it on the bench since I'm working by myself today. Sometimes I have somebody stand around and give me a hand, but the girlfriend was tired. She went home. She's been working around here today, trying to make the house look like a nice house. So then we'll fire up our torch. Let her cool. Pretty easy. And we're gonna just go ahead and clip this off up here because this piece we don't want. And we'll take it out to the truck. And we'll see where we're going to clip it. So let me walk out there. Actually, I'll just bring you along. What the hell? As you can see, it's got some raggedy cables, so we're going to make some new ones. So our new cable is going to go, and we'll try to make it somewhat neat. Maybe we'll do something like this. It'll be here. Doesn't really need to be that long, so we can get away with it. We'll cut it off there. So let's go in and cut it and solder on an end. Pretty simple. Making some of these cables is actually pretty easy. Now I do have a crimp tool for crimping them, but I don't like the way they look when they're crimped. I prefer a solder on. I prefer a solder on end. I just think it looks a little cleaner. It looks like you gave a crap. Crimp-ons to me just look kind of cheesy. And I already know somebody's going to say, "Oh, if you solder them on, if the terminal gets hot, it could melt the solder out." Let me tell you something. If you have a problem that's drawing that much amperage to melt the solder out of there, you've got other issues. You've got bad ground, you've got starter, you've got something else going on. I have been making battery cables this way for equipment and all kinds of stuff for years. I've never had an issue. I've never had a cable melt, fall apart. I've always had good luck. So let's go ahead and heat this bad boy up. A little rosin core solder. Now I probably go a little crazy with the solder. That's just me. We'll let her cool. Our next step will be to put a little bit of heat shrink on once she cools. And that'll make it look like a professional did it, not a hillbilly. So I buy shrink wrap in rolls. This makes it a little easier. And this will make it look a lot nicer. So it won't take much heat. That's simple. We now have a nice looking, cut to length, positive battery cable for our truck. So my little timer on the phone there says 9 minutes. I'll clean this up with a biscuit tool. Actually, we'll clean it up right now. But I've been making them like this forever. I like to do it this way because I can make them the length that I want them. And I don't have to worry about them using a... Got a little black stuff on it from the torch. That's it. So now I can bolt this on the truck. I got to make a negative one because the negative one's pretty crappy. But yeah, maybe got a little something out of that today. Maybe learns you a little something. Like I said, I do have a tool that crimps these, but I think this looks a lot cleaner when you open the hood up. Now I'll clean that little bit of stuff off of there, but that looks a lot cleaner when you open the hood up than those bolt-on things. And then the bolt-on things allow a lot of corrosion that'll actually work its way down the cable and ruin the cable. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to make some kind of battery hold down for this thing. I got to walk out to the 2 parts sheets. Maybe it's got part of a battery hold down on it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll walk out there and take a look in a little bit. We're going to make our negative cable next. And then we got a brand new battery. We got some lights to fix. And then hopefully next week I have off for the day job. So I plan on taking this thing through DMV and getting some tags on it. Then we're going to start cutting on it. Our parts truck's here. We got a nice bed, rear section of frame, and I'm going to do a video on this truck. This truck has the rear spring hangers are rotted right off the frame. The bed has 4 bolts holding on in the front because the rear half of the bed is rotted off the truck. The tires are dry rotted beyond horrible. And I'm going to bet you, because I know how my state is, that truck, as long as all the lights and wipers, emissions is the only thing I'm worried about. This truck is a 79, but I'll bet you all the other stuff passes. And then when I take the truck apart, I'm going to show you how bad this stuff is, and you're going to be blown away at just why and how did this pass. It's going to be kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get at this other cable and make it, and we'll move on to the other half of our project. It's going pretty well. We finished up a motor job this week in a Toyota, so we made a little bit of change to help pay for some stuff going on with the projects. We still got our customer S10 in here that we're doing some work on. So hopefully we'll get back on it. I've got some parts for another job. They just came in as well. Some Ford Ranger I'm putting a motor in. This red truck that you see kind of out of the corner here, we're doing, what are we doing to that? Oh, exhaust manifolds. Exhaust manifolds are rotted out. They are leaking really bad. So we are going to remove the manifolds. We got some broken bolts and studs. And we will make that repair to that truck. Make us a couple of, as my buddy would say, a couple shuffle dollars, so that we can go buy some parts for these projects. And I know you've heard me guys talk about this 100 times before in the past. This thing and other projects, they're funded by me. I don't have any fancy sponsorships. I don't have anybody handing me money or handing me parts or tools. I do all this by myself. This is all paid for by myself. So I try to do a couple of jobs on the side to help pay for the parts and the parts trucks and stuff to fund these projects. So I'd like to do more videos than I have been putting out here lately, but I've been trying to just work on some customer work to build some money to buy parts, and then try to jump in and do some videos for you guys to enjoy. So let me get at it. I'm going to make this other cable. I don't know if you want to watch me make another cable. I made one. It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference I'm going to do on this cable, since this next one I'm making is the negative cable, is when I solder this big wire in, I'm going to solder in an extra little piece of 14 gauge wire, because the original one has a piece of 14 gauge wire coming off of it and bolted to the body of the truck as well. So they're grounding the engine to the battery and then off of here to the body. I will be making a third cable that'll have eyelet and eyelet, and I'm going to do a cable from motor to frame on this truck as well eventually. Just to ensure that we have a really good solid ground, I'm I'm thinking about putting, since it's just been sitting here for 6 months, thinking about putting this on the Jeep. So I need good grounds. Kind of another reason why I wanted to put good battery cables. Need to be able to hook this bad boy up to a good solid connection on the battery itself. So look, let me get at it. Holler at your boy. Catch me on the next one.